Okay, picture this. There's this military base, right? And it's basically invisible. It's the absolute nerve center for this whole campaign, pumping out lethal Lancet drones constantly.
And protected. We're
Uh,
talking a massive 6-mile electronic jamming bubble. Nothing's supposed to get in or out without the, okay.
exactly. But then this entire, multi-million-dollar setup, it gets completely neutralized by what? A rusty old van, like 15 pounds of explosive, and a $5 firework?
It's
Seriously.
wild. The deception was just so layered. The Russian commander didn't just fall for the trap. He actually ordered his guys to go collect a trophy from it.
That's the mind-blowing part, isn't it? It really hammers home that takeaway. The most complex defenses, they often get beaten not by better tech, but by, well, better psychology.
Absolutely. What we're looking at here is just a masterclass in using somebody's own assumptions, their confirmation bias, right against them.
Totally. Welcome, everyone, to The Military Point, your ultimate source for sharp insights, analysis, and updates covering today's most important topics. Hey, before we dive deeper into this, let us know in the comments where are you watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more updates.
Okay, so let's really get into this deep dive. Our sources are showing that this whole mission, taking out this depot in Melitopol, it all hinged on that first step, the initial deception.
Yeah.
Let's call it phase one, the lure.
Right. The operatives, they plant the main thing, that TM-62 anti-tank mine, but then they use this really old, beat-up UAZ van just as, like, bait.
And this is where it gets interesting, that mix of low-tech and high-tech.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The HUR team, they knew getting close meant detection, for sure, so they had to ditch the van fast. Turns out, a buried vibration sensor, a Rebby 1000, tipped off the base that something was moving nearby.
Ah, so the van instantly became a hot potato.
Exactly, a liability, but they planned for this. And the smell, that's the crazy detail. They leave the van looking like junk, but they make sure these empty drone crates inside absolutely reek of rotten fish. They used it for camouflage, apparently.
So clever.
Yeah.
So when the Russian patrol shows up, they check it out, get a whiff of that stench,
Yeah.
and just figure, local fisherman's junk. They literally tag it derelict and head back.
That's the first psychological play, right? Using the sheer boredom of guard duty against them.
Precisely. But, the mission almost cratered right there. The operatives, hiding nearby, they had to power up their control system.
And even through that massive jamming bubble.
Yeah, even through that. Activating their Starlink controller, it sent out this tiny, microscopic 0.3-second electronic ping. A ghost signal, basically.
Wait, hold on a sec. How could a tiny little blip like that from a commercial satellite link set off alarm bells inside a super secure military base? Shouldn't the jamming just squash that noise?
Well, it wasn't really about squashing the noise itself. It was about the signature. Even a faint ping like that, in such a controlled electronic space, it flags as an anomaly. It basically screams to the Russian signals guys, hey, something unauthorized just tried to phone home hear us.
Yeah.
So the patrol might be gone, but now the command center, they're definitely suspicious. The bear's awake.
Okay. And this is where things could have gone totally sideways for the Ukrainians. The commander, now spooked, makes a decision that should have wrecked the plan.
Right. He orders the big prize, the $2 million Lancet Depot vehicle, to actually roll out of the main gate. It's moving away from the hidden mine.
The bait's out, but the fish is swimming the wrong way. What do?
They got to reel it back in. And that brings us to phase two, the electronic lie. They knew they couldn't just fly a drone through that JTIL jamming wall. Impossible. So they used the wall against itself.
Oh.
They launched 2 FPV drones, basically bait, and they programmed these drones to, well, scream electronically. They spoofed the signature of a friendly Russian Lancet drone, broadcast a valid IFF code, identify friend or foe.
A friendly code, but...
And here's the genius. The flight path is totally erratic, like a digital seizure, as one source put it.
Oh, I see. So the Russian jammer operator, he doesn't see an enemy drone. He sees one of his own expensive drones malfunctioning horribly, probably because of interference.
Exactly. He thinks, ugh, embarrassing tech failure. He doesn't sound the alarm. He probably just assumes control, zaps it with a targeted jamming beam to shut it up, and logs it as a successful kill. He feels good. His expensive system worked.
But they needed visual confirmation too, right? To sell the lie completely.
Yep. So a third operative uses the cheapest thing. They brought a $5 firework, launches it into a junk pile maybe 100 yards away, sparks, smoke. Looks just like a drone crash on the thermal cameras.
Wow. So the commander sees the digital kill and the visual crash.
Perfect illusion. And this feeds right into his confidence, maybe even arrogance. His expensive defenses worked. Now he wants the wreckage, a trophy. That's his second huge mistake.
So he orders the convoy to change course.
And head straight for the fake crash site.
Oh, man. And the depot vehicle, the $2 million truck packed with explosive.
Rolls to a stop. His front wheel ends up less than 12 inches away from the pressure plate of that hidden TM-62 mine.
Unbelievable. The setup is perfect, but the timing is suddenly critical again.
Yeah, because that firework, while brilliant, has drawn attention. There's a Russian ground patrol now sweeping nearby warehouses, and they got thermal optics. They're going to spot the HUR team any second.
Seconds to spare. Okay, so this moves us into phase 3, payoff and getting out of there. It's 05:42 a.m.
Right. The operative doesn't need to, physically trigger the mine. They send one encrypted command. The Baba Yaga drone, which has been watching silently from 300 yards out, just uses a simple low-power laser.
A laser to set off an anti-tank mine.
Instantly detonates it. Zap.
And the explosion. It's described as brutal mechanical surgery. What does that mean? It didn't just blow the truck up?
No, not yet. Remember, it's only 15 pounds of explosive against a massive vehicle. It shreds the tires, rips the whole front axle off, vaporizes the control wiring. The goal wasn't obliteration at this stage.
It was immobilization.
Exactly. Turn that $2 million war machine into a 40-ton paperweight, stuck permanently right there on the X. Why do you think crippling it first was more important than just destroying it outright? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Good question. Okay, so the truck's dead in the water. What happens next?
Chaos.
Maximum chaos. The Russians on the ground, they think they've just hit a random IED. They react, instantly start firing back blindly with heavy machine guns, DSHKs, tracers everywhere. Reports are flying IEDs, small arms fire, secondary explosions. Nobody knows what's really going on. And in that complete confusion, that fog of war,
the real hunter gets its chance.
the Baba Yaga drone lifts off.
But surely it's not safe yet. There must be other eyes in the sky. There are. As the Baba Yaga climbs, a Russian Orlan 10 drone spots its heat signature. Uh-oh.
So what happens? Mission over?
Not yet. One remaining FPV drone, one of the cheap ones, becomes a martyr. It deliberately slams itself into a high-voltage power line about 100 yards away.
Intentionally. Why?
Creates this huge electrical explosion, a massive secondary thermal bloom. It basically blinds the Orlan's infrared camera for just a couple of seconds.
Just long enough.
Just long enough for the Baba Yaga to melt into the shadows of the industrial park. Incredible sacrifice, calculated down to the second.
Wow. But the Russians aren't done right. They know something attacked them.
Oh yeah, they start pumping the air full of metallic chaff strips of metal meant to blind radar. And worse, there's a MEM-8 gunship helicopter inbound. ETA, less than 5 minutes. Things are getting really hot.
Okay, so chaff is in the air, Maid is coming, ground troops are probably closing in. How does the Baba Yaga even hit its target now?
See, the Russians are fighting the last war, or maybe just the wrong threat. The chaff. Useless. The Baba Yaga isn't using radar.
It's using thermal, of course.
It sees the heat signature of that crippled depot truck's engine glowing right through all the smoke and chaff. It's not even there. They're trying to hide from radar, but the drone sees heat.
And the incoming helicopter, that's still a huge threat.
So the operatives play their final card. Misdirection. They trigger something called an echo beacon. They planted it hours ago, disguised as a bird's nest.
A bird's nest? Seriously?
Seriously. This beacon suddenly screams out a massive false heat signature about 2 miles north of the real location.
Sending the Mi-8 on a wild goose chase.
Exactly. The pilot sees this huge priority heat source and goes after it, thinking it's the main threat. Brilliant.
Man, the layers here are just incredible. So the path is clear, but the Baba Yaga must be low on power by now.
Down to 5% battery. The operator knows this is it. Makes the call. Kamikaze.
It stops hovering.
And dives. Screaming down at 120 miles per hour, weaving through the tracer fire that's still ripping through the air from the confused ground troops.
Pure chaos down there, and the drone hits the truck.
Slams into the side. It's carrying a shaped charge. This creates a jet of molten copper traveling at something like 7,000 miles per hour that slices through 8 inches of steel plating like butter.
But again, that's hitting the truck, not necessarily the payload inside.
Right. But that impact, that molten jet, that's what ignites the main payload, the real target.
Which was?
Over 20 Lancet drones packed inside that depot vehicle, all loaded with their own explosives.
Oh my God, a chain reaction.
A massive chain reaction. A 2,000-degree fireball erupts. It incinerates the entire arsenal, the truck, everything. And tragically, it takes out 5 Russian soldiers who were caught too close.
The trap is sprung, complete. What about the operatives?
As the shockwave hits, they just lift a nearby manhole cover. They disappear down into a pre-dug civilian tunnel system. On the way down, they crush their comms radio. No signals left to trace.
Gone in the
Arrives about 70 seconds later. Finds nothing but a smoking crater.
Wow, just wow. They were fighting ghosts the whole time? A truck takes, what, 15 seconds to turn around? The drone's final strike needed maybe 50 milliseconds?
The speed difference is insane, and the strategic impact was immediate. Destroying that one vehicle knocked out Russia's ability to launch over 20 Lancet sorties a week from that area. That directly saved lives in Zaporizhia.
Okay, let's talk the final numbers, the ROI, the return on investment here, because this is the real wait, what moment.
It really is. Ukraine spent maybe $1,500 total for the old van, the cheap FPV drones, the mine, that firework peanuts, relatively speaking.
And Russia lost.
A $2 million depot vehicle, around $700,000 worth of Lancet drones inside it. And then there's the strategic edge. Lost, more sources for. Estimate that disruption, the saved Ukrainian assets and lives, could be worth up to $20 million.
$1,500 in, potentially $20 million out. The math on low-cost psychology is just staggering.
It sends a clear message, doesn't it, to any military watching this. You can build the biggest, most expensive shield of steel and electronics. But if someone uses clever psychology, exploits your assumptions, turns your own procedures against you.
The smartest trap wins, not the most expensive weapon.
Russia built a fortress. Ukraine defeated it with psychology and, yeah, a rusty fish truck.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Looking forward, when the next conflict sparks, how do militaries even begin to defend against this kind of thing? Low-cost, high-impact psychological warfare that just bypasses billions in hardware by exploiting, well, human nature.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
Or maybe the $1,500 question.
You've been listening to The Military Point. Stay sharp, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time.